Hi, I'm Willie. Welcome to my channel. Thank you for being here. I appreciate each and every one of you. If this is your first time here, I hope you will enjoy the tips, tricks, and configuration tutorials for all of your technology needs. That's one of the things we provide here, and I also do some IT tool reviews as well, software tools and hardware tools. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you very much. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for being here. Tonight what we're going to do is we are going to configure your UniFi L2TP IPsec user VPN to authenticate against Active Directory. I've been getting this request for quite a while since I did the last UniFi user VPN, and I actually use this configuration quite often with an edge router, and recently just did one of these with UniFi, so I wanted to put this video out so you can take a look at this. Two things you're going to need. You're going to need UniFi and a USG, and you are going to need a Windows server. Now, I am using Windows Server 2016, and it is the evaluation version. A lot of people are going to be on 16 or 19. You might even be on 12, 2008. While the instructions may vary slightly, these should be able to get you, in the right general direction. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to hop over to our Windows server. And I told you it was 2016 and it is a standard evaluation. You can see I've been running it for 8 days at the time of this filming. What we're going to do is we're going to click on Start. We are going to go to Server Manager. Once Server Manager comes up, we're going to go to Manage. And we are going to go to Add Roles and Features. And we are going to roll through this. It'll be role-based. It'll be on the local server. And then we are going to select Network Policy and Access Services. We're going to tell it to add all of the features that it needs. We're going to go ahead and hit Next, and Next, and Next. And then we'll tell it to restart if it needs to. And then we'll go ahead and hit Install. So what actually brought this up is I had a customer that I was doing some work for, and he had followed some of my directions, followed some other directions, and he was so close, and we had to troubleshoot what was going on. So I spun this up and ran through it real quick the way that I remembered, and everything worked. So I went back and I thought, you know what, this would make a great video. This is a good idea for a video. People will enjoy this. So I'll tell you what we're going to do right now, though, is while this installs, we're going to take a quick break, and if anything exciting happens besides the installation, we'll get to that. But we should be right back in just a minute. All right, so our feature installation is complete. I'm going to go ahead and click Close on that. Now you can see that the network protections stuff is installed, so we will go ahead and we'll go to Start, and you could go to Server Manager and you could go over to the tools and launch that way, or you can go here to Windows Administrative Tools and go down to Network Policy Server. Now, while that loads up over here we have our UniFi site, and you can see this is a brand new site. It's called Windows Hookup. We've got a USG that's called Bill's Slave, and we're going to need to do a couple things. We are going to have to set up a profile on this that has a shared secret that works between the Windows server and UniFi, so we'll have to set all that up. We're going to go ahead and we are going to configure the the Windows side of this first. So when this comes up, if you're running Active Directory, what you're going to want to do is right click on this, go to Register Server in Active Directory. We are not running Active Directory. Now, a Radius client is where that is a client, whether it's a piece of software or hardware, that's going to communicate with our Windows server. So what we're going to do is we're going to right click and we're going to go to New, and we're going to call this USG, and then the IP address of that USG is 192.168.66.223. Down here we're going to have a manual shared secret. and it's literally just let me in. Now that is not secure. In your environment, in a deployment, you should use something much more secure than this. This is just let me in with a capital L. And we're going to click OK there. We don't need to do anything else on the Windows side. Now, we do need to come down and create a connection request policy and a network policy. So we're going to do a new connection request policy, and we're going to call this, just call it VPN. We're going to leave the type of network access server unspecified. Here, I'm going to do a condition for time and date restrictions, and we'll just do add. We're going to do a permitted, and we'll just say that everybody is allowed to log in all the time. Next on that, we're going to authenticate request on this server. You can enable accounting if you want. For this specific demo, I am not enabling accounting. You can go back and do that as a secondary piece, and it is probably a good idea. But once you get through this, configuring accounting is pretty easy. So we're going to go ahead and go next. And for now, I'm just going to leave all of that at default. I'm going to leave default here and then finish. And then under network policies, I'm going to do new, and we'll call this VPN. We'll leave the access server unspecified. For condition here, we're going to use Windows groups. And the only groups that I have here is we're going to allow all users to go ahead and authenticate and use the VPN. So we're going to click OK. So you can see it's Windows groups, it's built-in users there. We're going to do access granted. Now, you can do this a couple different ways. You could do access granted if the user's in that group, or if you check this box, you're going to have to go into each user, and under the dial-in tab, you're going to have to allow that user or disallow that user. The group setting, in my opinion, is a much better, easier way to manage that. So we'll go ahead and click next. We're not going to put anything in the EAP types. We are going to put MS Chat version 2 and MS Chat down here. We're going to leave that. We're going to leave everything here default and everything on this screen default. And we're going to click finish. Now, you're going to see that it puts this policy at the bottom. So we are going to move this policy to the top. You can see the processing order is 1, 2, 3. If this is at the bottom, it may not process in order 1. Now, this is meant to get you up and going. I encourage you highly to get in here and mess around with these settings and break it. Because otherwise, how are you going to ever learn anything, right? You can configure this and for my instructions, but I'm not doing the accounting, which I'm recommending that you do the accounting, right? So I'm taking you this far with the connection side of it. You should configure the accounting side of it. And if you get stuck, reach out to me and we'll see if we can make that work. So we've got our client here. So we're going to hop back over here to our UniFi. We're going to go to settings. We're going to go down to profiles, and under radius, we're going to create a new profile, and we'll just call this Windows. We are not doing any radius assigned VLANs for wired or wireless, so we're not going to mess with that. This is where we're going to put the IP address of our Windows server, which is 66.46. Port 1812 is a default for Windows or for radius servers. And then here we're going to put that shared secret, let me in. And then when you enable accounting, you would enable accounting here. Now you can have multiple authentication servers, so if we click this, you can add more servers. You can also get fancy, change the ports and all that kind of stuff, but why don't you get it working with the default settings and then play around with it. That way, if it doesn't work, you can figure out if it's something you did or you missed a step or whatever. We're going to go ahead and save that. Now we're going to come up here to the networks, and we're going to create a new network, and we're just going to call this VPN. It's going to be a remote user VPN and L2TP. And now this pre-shared key is different than the other secret. That other secret that you set up between the Radius server and UniFi, you should never have to know that again unless you're adding more devices within the clients on the Windows side. This pre-shared key is the key that all of the users who are going to connect to this VPN are going to have. So my pre-shared key here is going to be insecure password. I'm going to make up a subnet here. I only need like 4 people to connect. So I'm going to do a /29 and radius profile will be Windows, and then we can require MS Chat version 2. And we are done. Now we set up our client to either connect to our fully qualified domain name or to our static IP if we have a static IP on the WAN side. So that's really it. It should be that easy, and this should work for you if you have all the passwords set up properly and everything is tested. So you would just set your clients up the way we always set them up. If you're on Windows 10, make sure you're going in and checking the security setup on the VPN connection after you create it. That should take you all the way with this. But if you have any problems or any questions, reach out and let me know. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe. Please comment and share. Please follow me on Twitter and Instagram. If you need IT consulting, you can go to williehow.com, fill out that contact form. Someone will get in touch with you as soon as possible. If we can't help you, we'll get you to a vendor who can. That's our promise to you. If you would like to talk with us on Discord, the link is down below. If you would like to support the channel by becoming a patron on Patreon, and thank you to those folks, that link is down below. Or if you'd like to buy any of the gear you see here, our Amazon affiliate link is down below. It doesn't change your price, but it does kick a couple bucks at the channel to keep this gear rolling in so we can keep cranking out these videos for you. Once again, I want to thank each and every one of you, and as always, I'll see you in the next video.